Are you writing the first draft of your book? While there aren't any hard rules to follow as you start, there are certainly things you should do and things you should avoid for better success. So I'm sharing 4 do's and don'ts for writing your first draft. Let's get started! Hey guys, Nour here, and welcome back to my channel. For those visiting for the first time, hello, I'm the fantasy author of the novel Divinity Falling. Be sure to subscribe for weekly writing advice videos. So when it comes to writing your first draft, I personally think there are 4 do's and don'ts. I will start by sharing the don'ts with you. Don't let your fear of sucking stop you from getting started. I know first drafts can be overwhelming, and I know you might worry that you're not a good writer. But you're not alone because every writer goes through the exact same experience. Put your worries aside and just start the first draft. Besides, having something written is better than not having anything at all. Don't overthink your writing. Just like my previous point, remember that this is the first draft. You can improve your work once the story is written. So don't be afraid to write poorly. We all write bad first drafts. And that's okay because it's normal. The purpose of the first draft isn't to be perfect. It's to get you to create the story's skeleton, its structure. Later, you could revise everything until it reads better. So don't overanalyze everything you write, delete it, and then rewrite. Just write the first draft for now and be gentle on yourself. Don't concentrate on the big picture. If you think about writing the entire story, you'll overwhelm yourself. Instead, break down the project into smaller writing goals. For example, tell yourself that you're only concentrating on specific scenes or chapters that week. When that's done, you can move on to other scenes and chapters. When you break down the story, it won't feel like an impossible task. And don't start writing random side stories just to increase the word count. Although this is your first draft and it's okay if it sucks, don't write things that you know will hurt your story in the long run. Adding filler just to increase the word count is one of those things that will only hurt your story. So stick to the main plot and what matters. It might take you longer to finish the manuscript, but you'll have a better story. Plus, you won't have to cut out all that filler and end up needing to write more chapters in later. Now for the do's. Do format your pages so they aren't letter sized. I changed my pages to roughly 8 by 5 inches, which is close to the size of published novels. I also shrink my page margins so there's more room for words. This makes it easier to figure out how far along I am in the book. This doesn't necessarily reflect my word count, but I still keep that in mind. But it does help me stay organized with my book length. Do avoid distractions. I easily get distracted by my phone, so I either mute it or put it in another room. And sometimes I write better while listening to music, while other times I start getting into songs and forget to write. So this all depends on what distracts you and how you're distracted from day to day. Be mindful of those things and create the right environment for you. Do leave temporary gaps in the plot if you don't know what should happen. Can't figure out how to get from one major plot point to another? That's fine. That's a gap you can fill in later. You'd be surprised how much easier it is to connect events once you know each is already written and drafted. Seeing the big picture does wonders. And do set a schedule and daily writing goal. You don't have to write every day or even for long hours. But training your brain to understand that 5 p.m. is writing time will train your creativity to emerge. Of course, it doesn't have to be 5 p.m. It can be any time you want. Basically, be consistent with when you write and how long you write. Write for an hour or even 15 minutes if that's all the time you have. Write every Monday and Wednesday, or write on the weekends. Create a schedule and make it a habit to sit down and write each time. Eventually, this will become second nature to you. So that's all I have for you today. I'd love to know, what do you struggle with the most when writing your first draft? Let me know in the comments. If you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe. I put out weekly writing advice videos that will take your story to the next level. Also, don't forget to follow me on social media to see what I'm up to from day to day and to chat with me. And before we go, I just want to give a quick shout out to Sarah Frayne and Alan J. Early from my shout out tier over on Patreon, as well as all my amazing patrons. Thank you all so much for your support. I really appreciate you. And remember, Nour for president!